Good afternoon. Welcome to this Facebook Live broadcast. I'm Shadidi Laser. And as Facebook Live builds an audience, I want to thank you for tuning in for wherever you may be in the world. And before we get started, just briefly type in what city you're broadcasting from or you're joining this Facebook Live broadcast from. Quick city check-in before I talk about the recap of Baltimore SharePoint, what happened, and some of my thoughts about the 2017 campaign and what we're going to do with the group. So just as an overview, for those of you who have never heard of Baltimore SharePoint, if you're joining the broadcast right now, make sure you type what city you're checking in from, a city check-in, really quickly. I'm here in Baltimore, USA, of course. Hey, that's Matt checking in. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Baltimore SharePoint Users Group is the longest running, Maryland's longest running Microsoft focused learning institution. There are many groups, there's many associations, but as far as consistency, as far as just overall solidness, Baltimore SharePoint has definitely earned its keep in the community in terms of just overall organizations and events, meetup groups, so on and so forth. So as far as when we meet, every third Thursday of the month since July 2007, we have held a meeting. The only time that we have not held a meeting is when we have our Saturday conference, which is an annual conference called SharePoint Saturday. Now that's a one-day conference where we bring in up to 20 speakers from around the world, and they deliver topics based on their expertise. There's different knowledge tracks or information tracks for, let's say, project managers, for administrators, for developers, you name it. There's topics for everyone, for absolute beginners, which is another question that I receive in terms of the group. You know, SharePoint is installed within over 60% of Fortune 500 companies. So it's something that you come across in your day-to-day work, or you may have heard it in a meeting or in some sort of upgrade or improvement path for your company, in terms of you may have to learn SharePoint to basically do your job, whether it's submitting timesheets or document management, so on and so forth. So the question we often receive is, I'm totally new to SharePoint. Can I, attend the group? And the answer is absolutely yes. We have a topic and subject matter for all learning paths. Now, if you are, and the way our meetings are structured, which is another question, is from doors open at 6, and from 6 to 6:45 is the networking session. So that doesn't mean you have to necessarily hold a bunch of conversations. If you have a question or a scenario that you're running into on your day-to-day work, or you're consulting, whatever the case may be, and you're stumped, this is the time that you can bring it up to the group. One of the major values of a SharePoint user group, especially in Baltimore, is that you are connected to people who are undergoing the same journey. These are the people who are there outside of their working hours, and you're connecting to other people. So this means that the problems that they're running into, you may have the answer for them, and vice versa. So it shortens the learning curve in terms of learning the platform, and also you're exposed to the latest and greatest as it happens. When there are new releases to the platform, you get that hands-on interaction. So that's very important to keep in mind. It's strength in numbers, and it's also shortening your learning curve through association with like-minded professionals. If I needed to solve a problem after years and years of running a group, I don't have to go to social media, or I don't have to hire somebody. I can pick up the phone and be connected with a subject matter expert on the platform right away within my particular consulting project. So that's really important. And another question is, what is the cost? You mentioned all these great things. You can connect with professionals, so on and so forth. What's the cost? Cost is 100% free to our members. Our in-person meetings are free. Our SharePoint Saturday annual conference is also free. So you have the opportunity, for those of you who want to learn SharePoint or become SharePoint professionals, you have a predictable roadmap to get up to speed quickly, easily, and effectively. For those of you who are joining in on the broadcast, what city are you checking in from? Make sure you add your city within the comments, please. So yesterday night, like I said, we meet every third Thursday of the month, which was last night, November 17th. And Tesfaye Gari, he's a senior SharePoint developer, web developer from M2M Consulting, MTM Consulting, and based in the Maryland area. He stepped up in the overall audience, and it was filled with just the right mix of PowerPoint slides and actual demo and walkthrough. He's a guy who, within 5 to 10 minutes, you clearly knew that he had a clear grasp on what he was delivering, what he wanted to prove, and that was excellent. His session was very well received. There were a number of new people to the group based on his session. So he brought a small following with him, which is always great when you're planning events, to have new people come in and just get a feel for what you're doing for the group and what they're trying to do with SharePoint. So his session was very good, and he led some Q&A as well, and that was great. So for those of you who are outside of the Maryland area, I consider it to be 3 types of user group members. The first are those who, like Cheers. Every time you come in, the TV show Cheers, every time you come in, they know your name. Doesn't matter what the topic is, they're going to attend each and every month. And for those, the second are those people who come in based on the topic. So if it's a topic that is relevant to what they're going through, then they will appear. Then the third are people who are interested but geographically disadvantaged, meaning they may live in DC, they may live in Pennsylvania, they love the group, but they cannot attend the meetings at all, either through work or through commute constraints. So for that third group and for the second group, and again, I'll repeat those who are topic driven, meaning they attend based on the topic. If we have a more notable speaker or rock star, so to speak, or we have somebody who's interested but geographically disadvantaged. The 2017 campaign, the 2017 season of Baltimore SharePoint will be geared towards providing more resources for that audience. So there's going to be more on-demand resources. We're going to beef things up in terms of the live streaming. I've done some Facebook Live. I've done a lot of webcasting, and we also often do conference calls and record the audio and provide that for the audience. But we need to step things up a bit more because we have a list of 1,500 people, and our conferences are filled with people who are very experienced, very enthusiastic. And when I see the impact, like last night, we have people who I've seen just start off with SharePoint, and then they evolve into, international speakers or authors, so on and so forth, just by interacting with the group. So that's why I keep doing this. And like I said, since 2007 in July, every single third Thursday of the month until present day, until last night, November 17th, we have had a meeting. It is probably the most consistent thing I've ever done in my life. I've done some good things, but the consistency of the group is something that I could have never planned and has exceeded my wildest expectations. So, based on that sweat equity that has been invested not just by me, but by my former partner, Eric, who's still in the background in the wings, giving advice here and there, and also the community, which includes all the people who attend the annual conference and come in from time to time, from month to month, depending on the topic. It's important to me to keep delivering that value each and every month. So Test did a great job last night. His PowerPoint slides will be available. His topic was customizing the SharePoint global nav, and his topic was heavily based on CSS. He mentioned a lot of great resources on basically web development, Bootstrap, and a few others. And the live Q&A was valuable. Again, like I said, 5-10 minutes into it, you knew, like, okay, let me strap on my safety belt. He's going to take us on a roller coaster of knowledge. This guy clearly knows what he's talking about, and we're going to extend an invite to him for our 2017 campaign in terms of planning out our speakers for our monthly meetings. One thing or one aspect, one wrinkle or feature that we're going to implement in 2017 is increasing the overall touch points, meaning when you're part of a user group, whether it's SharePoint or .NET or whatever the Apple, products, whatever it may be, in most cases, the touch points are only at the meetings, meaning if we had a meeting last night and everyone got together, outside of that, there's very little interaction. So what I'm looking to do more is to expand the Baltimore SharePoint experience to include, maybe halftime. So every 2 weeks we'll have either a special guest speaker to deliver a 15-minute webcast or conference call, and reinvigorating our knowledge base, which is where you can get questions answered by our community. We have a lot of talented professionals, a lot of talented rock stars and consultants and subject matter experts that are available at the tips of your finger. So if you type your question, you can get those answered. And the good thing is that these are things we've been around 10 years. So these are ideas that we've implemented in the past, but with anything, it's about mastery and it's about maintenance. So I'm very big into mastery and a lot of things that I do. In this group, I take a lot of pride in because I see the results, I see the excitement. So if you are on the receiving end of this broadcast, either live or if you watch this on demand, meaning the replay, and you are interested in showcasing your talents, your skills, your abilities in front of the Baltimore SharePoint Nation, BSPUG Nation, now is your time to step up. Call for speakers is available, and those slots will be filling quickly. If you are, now let me explain. It's important to note that a presentation typically is 60 to 75 minutes long, but if you're a beginner, you're just getting started, you don't have to deliver that length of presentation. You can always deliver a lessons learned, a how-to, break fix type of session. Those can be 15 to 30 minutes. I've sat through every single presentation for this group, and I select the speakers along with the committee for our annual conference, which means I have an idea of what the audience likes. So I will sit down with you and help you put together your slides so that you are relevant and awesome to our group. So if you're interested, you can email Baltimore SPUG, that's SPUG, at live.com, and send me your topic. Like I said, call for speakers is open now, and I'm excited to get the 2017 campaign started, which includes some initiatives for on demand and just basically people who support the group but can't make every meeting. We're going to make the experience transparent. There is more value in attending live, but I want to make sure that membership to the group includes that experience as well. So we're going to extend that, and I'm looking forward to that challenge. So Baltimore SPUG at live.com for speakers who are interested in delivering a topic at a minimum of 15 to 30 minutes and a maximum for the feature presentation of 60 to 75 minutes. I'm Shadidi Laser, president of Baltimore SharePoint Users Group, and I'm not only a member of the group, but it's something that has helped my career quite a bit. It helped me evolve into full-time entrepreneurship, and I would like for you to do the same. And if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, then you definitely should have job security if you have an interest in the SharePoint platform. If you come to the meetings, if you become a member and make BSPUG your BSPUG, then you'll always have a solid career. I'll make sure of it. And the other members in the community will help boost up your skill and profile as well. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. I'm Shadidi Laser, over and out. Enjoy your weekend.